On TVC News, more on the world now. Right away, Ukraine began the day with rare diplomatic momentum, securing a new mineral deal framework with the United States. And under this agreement, Washington will invest in Ukraine's recovery in exchange for a share of profits from the country's natural resources and energy infrastructure. A first round of peace talks in Paris with U.S., European and Ukrainian officials was also described as positive until President Donald Trump and his Secretary of State Marco Rubio threatened to withdraw U.S. support unless progress came quickly. Kyiv had hoped growing American frustration with Russia might lead to more sanctions, but the threat of U.S. disengagement may benefit Moscow more than Ukraine. Meanwhile, Russian missile strikes continue to devastate civilians in Ukraine. In its city of Kharkiv, 3 missiles hit residential areas, killing 1 and injuring more than 100, part of some of the deadliest attacks in recent days. Let's talk about this now, bringing in global affairs analyst Kunle Falowo to share his thoughts. Thank you very much for joining us again on The World Now. So what do you think about this, and how hopeful are you that this might just be the breakthrough needed for the tensions between Russia and Ukraine?
Thanks for having me. So this is another testament that all hands must be in deck to ensure that both parties are brought back to the negotiating table to iron out their differences and completely come up with a resolution that will end the unending bloodshed happening, particularly in Ukraine. I would say that this is one of those defining moments in the world of, as we know it, and international politics altogether, because we're seeing international alignment that primarily deals with not necessarily political parties, but it's more of power, influence, and interest. So different countries are aligning based off on their political interest and power and the overall benefit that they derive to gain from any kind of alliances. So it's a new world order, and this is the height of it. This is more like a proxy war, like everybody already have been saying. But at the end of the day, we need some form of normalcy and consistency. But it's going to be a very difficult task, I would say. But at the end of the day, we're optimistic that negotiations will continue, and ultimately we'll find a solution to it.
But what do you make of the U.S. intervention this time around, helping in the recovery process in Ukraine, and at the same time, benefiting from the profits of the sales of minerals? Do you call this vintage Trump or what?
So, for clarity, every European country that have aligned themselves with the Ukrainian plight, and every other countries that have also aligned themselves with the Russian side, maybe you want to mention North Korea or China, for example. Every country, like I said, are all in it for a particular interest, and it's not really about democracy or anything like that. Particularly, we know for a fact that there's a humongous amount of natural resources in Ukraine, and even before the Trump era, every country would have to, it's more like a quid pro quo. They give arms, ammunitions, and things like that to Ukraine in return for something. That's part of the something they're not telling the public, but it is not for free. All of that billions and trillions of dollars has been spent on the war between Russia and Ukraine. Every country that have contributed in any shape or form are benefiting directly or indirectly from it. So it is not charity at all, very far from it. But ultimately, this is more about the preservation of the Ukraine territory as an independent country, and also the preservation of the life and the decency of the people of Ukraine. And that's really what we're very interested in knowing and making sure that that is a realistic goal at the end of the day.
All right, that's all we have time for. Kunle Falowo, we thank you very much for speaking to us at TVC News.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Right, and in the face of soaring egg prices and empty supermarket shelves, many Americans are turning to a surprising source for relief, Mexico. And in the Mexican border city of Tijuana, the largest local farmers market is seeing an unusual sight as parking lots fill up with cars bearing California license plate. We have details in this report.
A month-long egg shortage has left U.S. consumers scrambling to find affordable eggs, with some even driving across the border into Mexico. According to the latest consumer price index released by the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, egg prices in March hit a new record high, $6.23 per dozen. Analysts attribute the prolonged spike in egg prices largely to the avian flu outbreaks that began in 2022. But eggs aren't the only items straining household budgets. In Mexico, a dozen eggs can cost around $2 compared to nearly $10 in parts of California.
Certain stores like Walmart, 18 eggs used to maybe be $1 something, maybe a couple years ago, $2. And now the same 18 pack is $9, $10.
Before, I would definitely take, $50 or $60 or $80, and I would bring home for about a week or so. Now I could take that and it's only for like 3 days. And when she's gone, she's like, hey, did you notice that the price of the eggs or the milk or, small items that you would never think that would be so pricey, that they had definitely gone up as of recent.
Data from the U.S. Department of Agriculture's Economic Research Service shows food prices have been rising steadily since 2020. In 2022, prices jumped by 9.9%, the highest in nearly 40 years. Though the rate of increase slowed in 2023 and 2024 at 5.8% and 2.3% respectively, prices remain well above pre-pandemic levels.
Me and my family and a lot of people around me, a lot of people I work with, we're just always kind of complaining because of the prices, and we don't get paid more and the rent's going up and all the food, so it's been difficult.
A lot of people have to cut where they can to be able to afford necessities, and that's just everybody. That's just the way of life now, I feel.
U.S. Customs and Border Protection reports a significant increase in the number of eggs intercepted at border entries. In San Diego alone, egg seizures have surged by 158%. In response to the shortage, the U.S. is working to import eggs from countries like Turkey and South Korea. Amid this economic strain, President Donald Trump's renewed global tariff campaign has drawn criticism for further driving up costs by increasing business expenses.
Wait, one at a time.